Has a clearly inflamed abdominal wall, possibly from the liver. It appears as though he's a potentially lost cause, but we'll see if we can save him some long-term misery. When making an incision to bisect the abdominal cavity, it's necessary to have a very good sharp scalpel. Clean, it's up to you. First order of business when doing a major surgery is always have the patient either unconscious, which this one appears to be, or to make sure that they are biting on a stout stick so that they don't scream so loudly as to distract you. Your first incision should begin 1 inch above the navel, and you may have to push rather firmly. This guy is very nearly dead. So, once you have the incision made, you open the abdominal cavities and begin dissecting and transecting the inflamed tissues. And once removed, place them to the side. Are you okay? Whether or not doesn't matter. Someone pick up Mr. Darwin, please.
Okay, hold on. Go.
I quit.
Welcome to Science Talk Show. Today we have Charles Darwin
Hi.
and Tracy Myers
as hostess.
Today we're going to ask Charles Darwin some questions.
Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
We're going to start off by asking you some questions.
All right.
What was your childhood like?
Well, I grew up in an extremely wealthy family. I was known and honored. I had very good education, and I married my cousin. I was very imaginative at a young age, and I'd make up stories. And that's about it.
You married your cousin.
You know,
Was that like weird back then?
no, it's perfectly fine to do that back then.
Oh, yeah, it's different now. What made you study barnacles?
Well, in January in 1835, on a beach in Canos, Archipelago, off the coast of Chile, I picked up a coral shell. I was interested in it. And from there I just kind of started studying them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Did that have to do with geology and your
Oh,
interest in it?
Yeah, a little bit, just the different locations.
All right.
Why didn't you pursue your career as a doctor?
I just kind of stay on the side of blood. Just not my thing.
Lots of people have that problem. Why did you wait 24 years to publish your famous book?
Well, it just took me a long time to work out the details of it.
Oh, and I think we're going to move on to some new questions today.
Okay.
When did you hear of the voyage of the Beagle?
I was notified by Captain Robert Fitzroy to join the crew. He thought it'd be a good experience for me. Just a lot of geology on board with him. So I joined, because I really wanted to see the tropics as soon as possible.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Coming back from commercial break, we're here to ask Darwin more questions.
Alright. Was most exploring done on land or water?
I'd say land.
How long did you explore land?
For about 3.5 years.
Oh, that's quite a long time. How long did you spend on water?
About 1.5 years.
So a lot more on land than
Oh yeah.
water.
Coming back from our second commercial break with Charles Darwin and Tracy Myers.
Alright.
Look at that good-looking guy.
When did you decide to write your book on geology?
I'd say in the really early stages in the voyage, I gave a lot of thought to writing my book. I decided the topic of geology.
Oh, that's it.
We have a few questions to finish up for you today.
Okay.
Charles Darwin.
Tell us about some major findings of yours.
Punta Alta, I found some gigantic fossils of ancient animals. Then a couple known species, which is extremely strange, in my opinion. So I thought about it and decided that it was changes in the land, and that some animals thrive while others die out due to small changes over time.
So you really enjoyed that. That's pretty neat.
Yep. My beard is coming off.
You don't say that in an interview.
So,
That's the end. It's the
it was
end
good
of
to
the
have.
interview.
It was good to have you here today,
Don't hold your
Mr.
Thanks for joining
Darwin.
us.
Wait.
It happens with old age. It's okay.
You lose hair.
Job, man.
I was married in, I think, 1839 to my darling Emma here.
It was a magnificent event.
Yes, yes. And we lived on the street in London called Gower Street. I believe until 1842, we found a house in Count Kenny near Down.
We both grew up in more rural areas in Shropshire, where the air was quite clean and healthy. In London, it was so different. There was smoke and soot that hung heavy in the air. As if that wasn't bad enough, we were expecting our third child and wanted a proper home in the country where we could raise a family.
We bought the Down home and about 18 acres of land for £2,200. I believe we moved in September of 1842.
We both recognized that the home was not what we needed. It was square and rather small, but we made several additions to the home. We grew very fond of it.
We had 10 children in total: William, Anne, Mary, Henrietta, George, Elizabeth, Francis, Leonard, Horace, and Charles Waring, I think. My book on the origin of species was published in November 1859.
After we had our children, we spent the rest of our lives at our beloved Down house. Me and the members of the family that were living at Down moved to Cambridge after Darwin's death, yet I returned nearly every summer until I died.
I was 73 years old when I died in 1882. Me and my darling Emma were married for 43 years.
I died in 1896 at the age of 88.
After we both died, our families retained the house until 1900 when it was rented to many tenants. Olive Willis founded a successful girls' school there in 1907 and stayed until 1922 when it was necessary for her to move to a larger facility.
When one visits Down House today, it has been restored by British Heritage. It is much the same as when the Darwins made their last edition in 1876. The front entry was reminiscent of one at Darwin's boyhood home at Mount House in Shrewsbury. The two windows to the left of the entry are located in Darwin's old study, while the two to the right look into what was his new study and is now the ticket office and gift shop. Further state, the new study and the story above it were the last editions made by the Darwins in 1876.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today on the Evolution Talk Show, we have the one and only Charles Darwin here to tell us about his publishing.
Welcome, Mr. Darwin.